and M2U00189. Okay, now open your eyes if they were closed. Who can repeat it? Who can repeat the sequence of planets after this imagined thing? Okay, somebody try. You try. You try. I don't know. Who wants? You just remember this. If you imagined it as right, if you didn't look at me but you imagined, you should remember this. Can you do it?
Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune.
It's got Sun. Do you remember? S-U-N.
Sun.
So each letter for one planet. Saturn,
Saturn, yes.
Uranus,
Yes.
Neptune.
Neptune.
So if you imagine it correctly, if you really work with your imagination, you will never make mistakes here. So once you remembered this association, you can make a good remembering thing. Can you use it in history? Yes. And let's try to remember the sequence. Let me do this. Let's try to remember the sequences of some. Okay, I'll use this. Don't look at this. Okay, I'll use this one. It's going to be pretty quick. The hardest. Usually people have much more, lots of troubles remembering consequence of czars in the 18th century. Let's just try to remember. So who was the first one in the 18th century? You know him.
Peter the Great.
Yes. So he will come in a second. Let's do this. So the first one is Peter the Great. That's true. I will write it in Russian because I have a point, because you usually learn it actually in Russian. So I will say this. Peter the Great, or Peter the First. So what do you associate with Peter the Great? I mean, you associate probably lots of things, but what is this association with Peter the Great? When you think Peter the Great, what do you think? Nothing? Like nothing. Come on. Do you have any association with Peter? With this guy?
St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg is the best association. So he built St. Petersburg. Okay, let's say that that's enough for now. Let me do this. Havaishina. New association. That means that you know. No, I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry. Second. So who was the next after Peter?
Catherine the First.
Who was she?
His wife.
Yeah, that's true. Second, I'll make it work again. So the second person, 1 second. So the second one was Catherine the First. I would say in Russian. And, oh, no, Catherine the First. She was his wife, right? You remember her? She was his wife. So this is Peter the First, and of course you know him. The second one was his wife, Catherine the Second. Okay, Catherine the First. I'm thinking of Catherine the Second probably. So she ruled after him because he died, and she was his wife. She became Stop doing this, please. Okay, so who was next?
Peter,
You saw him.
Peter the Second.
Peter the Second. How do you know? Usually people the knowledge usually stops here. So who was? What can we associate with Peter the Second?
Very young.
He was really young.
Unexperienced.
Unexperienced. How old was he? Do you know?
Probably 14 or something.
So he was like 14 or 15 years old. What happened to him? He didn't rule. He just ruled for 1 year or for 2 years. He died because of sickness. He was sick. He didn't go back. He didn't rule for a long time. Okay, and he didn't do anything. Somebody ruled for him, so he was really sick, and he died when he was 15 years old. Who was next?
Anna.
Did you study history? Okay.
No.
Yes, that's true. Her name is Anna. She ruled for like 10 years. Was pretty stupid. Okay. So she's the only Anna in Russian throne. Only Anna. There was no more Annas, and she didn't. She didn't do much. She had so you don't need right now. You don't need to think about it too much. Just think that she's the only Anna, and see, she was big, and she liked dancing and different banquets and stuff. Who was this? Who was this guy?
Jan Antonovich.
Who? His name was. Anybody else knows it? His name. I don't know how to stop. Okay, never mind. Yes, his name is Ivan. Do you know his number? How many Ivans were there in Russian history?
Probably 6.
6. Yeah, there were 6. He was the last one. There 6. He was just like 1 year old. He was a baby, and he didn't rule at all. It was like just like 1 year. When he was 2 years old, somebody else came, and it was who? Who was the next one?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Yes, Елизавета in Russian. Okay. And she put him to prison. And it's actually a nice story because it's like a Russian iron mask. He was in prison for all his life. He didn't know that he could be a Tsar because he actually had roots. He was related to Romanovs. He was some kind of grandson anyway. So he never knew that he was a Tsar. He was put in the prison in Schleswig. So he was in this fortress for around 30 years. And nobody was allowed to talk to him. He didn't have anybody to talk to. They just brought him food for all his life. And by the end, during the Catherine II time, they killed him. Because she was afraid that somebody will take him back. So it's a sad story. He never knew about this, why he was in prison. Since he was like 2 years old, he was in prison. Okay, the next is Elizabeth. Yes, she was in power for quite a long time, and 20 years. Okay, what do we know about her? Any associations with her? Not much. Okay, remember that after she died, they found like 1 million dresses in her in Winter Palace because she changed dresses every day. She never put the same dress again, and she had so many dresses, like more than a days in the year, and that's her heritage, the dresses. And no lady could wear the same dress as she. Like if she would see the lady with the same dress, she would get mad. Okay, who is the next one?
Peter III.
You don't need to go to this course. I'm just kidding. So yes, that was Peter III. I wanted to put it in one line, but if you write it down, you will see it. Okay, so it was Peter III. He was killed. He didn't. He also was there like for 1 year. He loved. He loved Europe. He wanted to be a king of Sweden. He hated Russia. He didn't speak Russian. He hated everything Russian. He went crazy. He did lots of things that people hated him too. And who killed him? This guy, this lady. Who is she?
His wife.
It's his wife. Oh, the thing that you need to remember about Peter III, he was kind of crazy, and Catherine, she also didn't like him, her husband. That's probably why she killed him. You don't kill a husband if you like him. He played with her in like toy wars, but the soldiers were the dead mice. Do you understand? Mice. One mouse, 2 mice. It's like plural. So he would bring dead mice in her bed, playing toys with her. We know this after her diary. So, and she hated him. And then she stopped doing this. Okay. We do this, I think. Yeah. So we're here. He's Peter III. So and then she came to power, Catherine. I would like you to write this down and go like down. This is Catherine, but I'll write it here. So, and she was the Great. So we had only 2 people in our history who had this name, the Great. It's Peter the Great and Catherine the Great. And remember the memorial on Senatskaya Square to the Peter the Great? like on this rock. Do you know what is written under it? Anybody knows? Who put this memorial? This monument? Catherine. Do you know what is written there? Do you remember? It's in Latin, from one side, from other side, if you go around, it's in Russian. In Latin it says Petro Prima, Katarina Secunda. And in Russian it says Petru Первому, Екатерина Вторая. She was thinking about this caption for like 1 year. Derzhavin offered different poetry for this. Like, I don't know, some lines from poetic lines or something like this. People were offering her what to write. She was thinking and thinking and thinking, and then she decided this, Petru Первому, Екатерина Вторая. And it's very smart. What does she show? What did she show this, like with this caption? Petru Первому, Екатерина Вторая. Do you feel like she said that there is nobody between them? 1 second. And she said that I'm as great as you are. She put herself in, so it's a monument to Catherine the Great, more than it's monument to, I mean, kind of, more than it's monument to Peter the Great, because she also put herself in this monument, and she said, I'm the same, I'm kind of the great. So she said there was like, these guys weren't there, Peter, Catherine. And the last guy of 18th century is this guy, who is this? Don't. Yes, that was Pavel. Pavel was a son of Catherine, and there is a movie that's called Poor, Poor Paul. It's a Russian movie. Yankovsky is starring in this movie. It's kind of a cool movie. What do you know about him? Why is he so poor?
He was killed.
He was also killed, yeah. And he didn't rule for a long time, and he was always afraid of his life, and we're going to have the whole lecture about him. And I really like him. I think it's a cool story. But anyway, so how do you remember, except you, what is your name, I'm sorry? Ola, except Ola, because she already knows. How can you remember all of this? You can make up a story. You can do associations. I was thinking yesterday like how to make it easier, because some people just don't have these historical associations. For example, I have historical associations because I studied it, but you didn't, so probably it should be some mechanical way. So what if I say, this is a story about 2 characters. Do you know like the movie Pepe and Lolo? Have you seen this cartoon about penguins, Soviet? Pepe and Lolo? Nobody, it's a cool one. Okay, so, but it would be not Pepe and Lolo, it would be Peppa и Епеп. Can you remember 2 people, Peppa and Епеп? Okay, that's how you can remember the first letters. I think it's kind of easy. There's also one thing. They go man, woman, man, woman, man, woman, man, woman, man, woman. The guys with P, with letter P, they are all Peters, first, second, third, and only the last is Paul. The girls, the Catherines are on the edges, okay? And then you have Anna, Ivan, and Elizabeth in the middle. So they have different names. Everybody else has almost the same name. So when you think of Peppa и Епеп, you need to think that the first letter goes for one Tsar. Okay? And then maybe you can remember it. Do you want to try if I take it up away? Who wants to try? It's not you, of course. Anybody wants to try? I mean, of course, it needs like some time to try to understand. Come on, somebody try, don't be shy. Okay, I'll be like a dictator. You try. You can say, if it's easier for you in Russian, because then you translate, you can say it in Russian.
In Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Петр Первый, Екатерина Первая, Петр Второй, Анна, Иван маленький, Елизавета, Павел, Петр, Екатерина, Павел.
Okay, so it works. Did you know before? Вы знали до этого? Ну, уверена. So. You didn't know it so. Okay, so we're gonna just a second. We're gonna try and we're gonna start to talk about Peter the Great. Before we start, let's like just get relaxed a little bit. I usually do when you listen too much and you don't do much because we don't have lots of activities today. You need some rest, okay? And I call it finger yoga. Have you heard of it? Finger yoga. It's something that you do with your fingers that activates your brain. So let's all do it. First you just like tap your hands and go like this. Because you get tired.
Yeah.
Then you go like this. Like each finger. Then you like activate your ears. And the next thing we want to connect the left part of the brain with the right part of the brain. So let's do several things. The first thing is like this. This is, how do you call it in English? Thumbs up. Thumbs up? Okay. What is this? There is no name for this in English. I call it figabo. So do this. With one hand. Another hand. But it's not that easy. Now you do it like this. So in different... Okay. The next thing is this thing. So one hand is like this. No, I'm sorry, like this. And goes like this. Easy. The second hand, the same. So now you need to combine. No, don't give up. Okay. The other last thing. There is a gun. And this is anti-gun. Okay? So you go like this. That helps your brain, really. It activates your brain activity. Okay, I'll do it slower. Another hand. Oh, sometimes I also use it up. It's not very difficult. You can train for like 5 hours and then it's really useful for connecting your parts of the brain. Okay, let's do this. And finish on that. Alright, so the story I wanted to tell you today's topic, it's Peter the Great. Actually, it's the first topic of our course. So we're going to talk about everything that he has done during his life. So today I just wanted to talk about his childhood and who was this guy actually, and why did it happen that he changed everything in our country. Before, can I just like flip it over? Okay. Should I do? Can you help? Okay. So what do you? Again, I need to talk to you like this. What do you associate with Peter the Great? St. Petersburg. Give me more. Boats. Great.
Boats.
Bolts?
Boats.
Boats. Okay. Bolts. Boats. Okay. What else?
Window of Europe.
To Europe. Window to Europe. Okay. What else? What do you know about him? Boats, window to Europe, St. Petersburg. What else?
War with Sweden.
Huh? War with Sweden. Okay. What else? 4. Oh, come on. You know more.
He bought the small Russians.
Say again?
He bought the small Russians.
He taught Russians to smoke. That's true. Okay. That's a good thing to associate with him. What else? So we have 6. So we go Peter the Great, Peter the First. And we say smoking. He brought it from Amsterdam. Boats. Actually, not only boats, but you can do something else here. St. Petersburg. What else did you say? Window to Europe. Okay, what else? Sweden. Swedish war. Okay, what else? You know. You want to tell something?
Dentistry.
Huh?
Dentistry.
Dentistry. So, do you know the story that he pulled the teeth out of some mouths because he was thinking that he was a doctor? Kind of dentistry. Okay. Anything else?
Education for boyarskих children.
For boyarskих children, boyarskих is a good one. Boyare, dворяне, that's called nobility. Nobility is noble people, nobleman, дворянин или боярин, потому что это было сначала бояре, потом стали дворяне. So it's nobility. So education.
They studied Russian float.
Как будет флот?
Boats.
Boats. No, boats is something small. It's like boat trip on Fontana River. Ships would be like much more serious. And float, a fleet. Navy also can be navy. It's the military stuff on the sea. Navy is also a color. It's like a dark blue color. It's called navy color. Okay, anything else? Okay, let's finish here. We didn't talk about, he actually did much more. Because he had the power and he had so much energy. He was actually a phenomenon. He interfered. What does interfere? Вмешаться, like interfere. He interfered in all parts of life. Social, religious, military, international, anything. Just like arts, museums, dentistry, boats, calendar, everything. He changed everything. So after his ruling, Russia was not anymore like the Russia that it used to be. I wanted to talk about how did it happen that he I'm going to do this in a second. That he came to power. Do you know the story? How it all started? How he became a king? Anybody knows? A king, a czar.
He had a brother.
Yes.
And it so happened that he ruled with his brother at the same time. Firstly,
Okay.
Because his brother had problems with health.
Yeah, he was like this. He could not like talk really like cool. People said that he had like eye sticking and his head was a little bit to the like he had some problem like health problems. He had epilepsy plus I don't know some mental infirmness. So I wanted to show you some pictures. He also had a sister. Her name was Sofia, and that's her. I'm sorry about this. Okay, the story is like this. Peter had a father, okay, and his father was married twice. So he didn't like he divorced first time. I mean, so he had two families kind of. So the first family and the second family. The first family, if you want to know, they were Miloslavsky. That's the boyar's name, and the second was Narishkin. So, of course, what do you think, did they like each other? Of course not. Because like different wives from different places. So, from the first marriage, he had lots of children, like 14 children. But all the boys in of these children, they were sick. Like there was some problem with this genes or something. Genes is not like genes, but like G-E-N. All of them were kind of sick. But he had also a daughter whose name was Sofia, and that's her, and she was really smart. Actually, it's kind of a sad story. She, like her father loved her, and he gave her like the best teachers. He took her to travel with him around the country. She spoke 2 languages, I mean 3 with Russian, Latin and Polish. It was something really unique for a girl in that time. It's 18th century. The regular fate or destiny of girls in Tsarian family was really sad. They weren't educated. Usually they didn't receive any education. They usually could not marry. So their life was like just sit in the terem and look from the window and then go to church and then go back. And so it was really boring, and she wanted to escape this stereotype. She wanted to show that girl also is something, and she can know something and do something. So she was really educated, and she was really smart, and she had very sharp brain. She understood like the politics, and she wasn't stupid, okay? So because like, you know, the history is written by the winners. Do you know the saying? So whoever is winning, this person writes a history. Because we all love Peter the Great, we say she was his enemy and she was bad, and something like this. But it's not really true. So when the father of Peter the Great and Sophia and all of these like 25 children, he died. His name was Alex. And he had so these sons from the first marriage, and the one from them was Fedor, and he was also sick. But he became a Tsar because he was old, and Peter was like 2 years old, so no chance. But as long as he did not understand the politics and he wasn't really interested, Sophia helped him a lot. So for several years she was almost a Tsarine. So she ruled the country. I mean, Fedor officially he ruled the country, but she was giving him advices. She met all the boyars, all the nobility. She talked to them. She talked to foreign people who came to Russia. So when Fedor died, what was there? There was one more son, Ivan. Remember that? Okay, this is Sophia. This is Ivan. Pretty, huh? So this is like one of the famous portraits of him. So he was like 15 years old, so not very old yet. But he was absolutely sick. So everybody knew that he was sick. It was the year 1682, if you want to know, but you don't have to remember that. So in 1682, the Fedor died, and this is when something strange happened. People didn't know who will be the next Tsar. Peter was like 7 years old, okay? Not 7, 82, 6, yes, like 7 years old, he was 7. Of course, he was small, but they decided that he was healthy, he was pretty big, he was pretty smart and curious, and they thought, and Ivan was, okay, we know like, he couldn't even talk straight. And so they decided that Peter is the one who will rule the country. But because he was small, they put his mother to help him. Okay, it's called regent. What do you think, Sophia? Where did she go after that? What did she think? Like, imagine it's her half brother. Does anybody of you has half brothers or half sisters? Half brother, half sister. It's like one parent, one father, different mothers. Okay, slowly. Yes. So what happened to her?
She went to the monastery.
Not yet, not yet. She didn't yet go to the monastery, but she was what? She was put away from this power, from this ruling, because Peter was Narishkin's and she was from Miloslavski's. And she also had the brother who was older than Peter, so he had much more rights to the throne. So what did she do? What do you think? What do you know, maybe?
Started a rebellion?
Yes, she started the rebellion with Streltsy. It's like elite military corps in Russia at that time. She hated the situation. She wanted to go back to the power. She liked to have the power when her brother Fedor was there. So they made this, organized this rebellion of Streltsy. And Streltsy came to Kremlin, and there was Peter the Great, who was like, again, 7 years old. He was small, 7, 9, and his mother, and all his relatives, like his uncles, like all the people who he trusted and who ruled the country. So what Streltsy, they were told that Narishkinis, like his mother, killed Ivan, so that Peter would be the Tsar. And they were coming to the Kremlin screaming, "You killed Ivan! You are so like bad guys! We will kill you too!" And then, so let me show you Peter the Great. He was this small by that time, but he was a Tsar kind of. So they made this portrait. So the next thing that happened, they came to the Kremlin. In a second, you will see this. There is a painting of this, and Peter's mother. Her name was Natalia. She put both Ivan and Peter, and she brought them out, and she showed everybody that they are alive. And then Streltsy were like, okay, why did we come here? Somebody, let's check this. Okay, I'll wait. I'll show you when it's working. So she showed them to the crowd of this Streltsy, and they were. Then they started. Okay, let's still make a rebellion, and they came into the Kremlin, inside of the palace, and they killed everybody of Naryshkins who were there except Natalia, the mother of Peter, and Peter. So Peter saw how they killed his uncles and everybody that he loved. He saw it by how they were killed by Streltsy exactly in Kremlin. So, and it fascinated him when he was a child. He remembered this for all his life. He was always remembering this moment when they came. So what do you think? How did it influence his future after this? What did he start thinking? I don't know.
He hated Moscow.
He hated Moscow. He really hated Moscow. He never lived there. Who else he hated? He hated Streltsy. Do you know this famous picture, Утро Стрелецкой казни? It's when Peter came to Moscow and killed everyone. He was like by himself. He had an axe. You know, axe is something that you do this, and he just like put their heads off. So he really hated them. So, and he hated all this way, how everything is made. That you make a rebellion, and then everything is cool, and you kill people, and it's okay. So of course, Naryshkins didn't have anybody to help, and Streltsy said, okay, let's not only make Peter the Tsar, but also make Ivan. So let's make two Tsars. Do you know how to fix it? Just like, okay. I can show it also from the laptop, but anyway, it will be cool to see the pictures. Maybe I should. Can you copy? Okay, so what happened next? Peter and his mother, they were scared. He didn't want to live in this Kremlin anymore because he saw these ghosts of his relatives who were killed because they were just thrown on the pigs and he saw this blood and stuff. So they went to a small village near Moscow. It's a residence of his father. It was called Preobrazhenskaya. So they went there, and Sofia stayed with Ivan in Moscow, and she became a Tsarina because Ivan had no interest in ruling the country. Although he had a wife, and they had like 7 children. And also, actually, Anna Ioannovna, the girl that she's his daughter. She was his daughter. So, but he wasn't in the family. He wasn't interested in ruling. We know nothing of his activity. He didn't even try. But they created this because it was a very unique situation, just 2 Tsars at one time, Peter and Ivan. So they built a special throne for them, for both of them. So there was a throne with 2 seats, and this throne had a little hole behind it for Sofia, because these different ceremonies inquired both Tsars sitting, even though they were small, and listening to boyars or to foreign missions. But Sofia was sitting behind and she was whispering what to say, what to answer. And Peter hated this situation because he was brought to Moscow for all the official ceremonies and he couldn't sit on this throne. He stood up, he talked to the boyars, and Sofia didn't like this, and she told him, if you one more time you stand up, I don't know, not like I'll kill you, but she threatened him. Okay, oh good, thank you. So that's Peter the Great again, the small one. This is what? This is Natalia Naryshkina, it's his mother, and she's showing Ivan and Peter to this Streltsy who came to, and there's this patriarch who says, calm down, all of them are alive. And this is a picture of Streltsy taking away Peter's uncle. His name was Artemon Matveyev, but you don't have to remember this. And this is his mother, because that's a brother of his mother. And he's looking at this, and who is this, do you think? That's Sofia. Yeah, she's looking, and she's like, okay, that's good. And but this is like inside of the palace. And and so this is both of them, Peter and Ivan, and they were brought to the power, coronated in the cathedral, and there is a Sophia standing behind them. And the one thing about this story I wanted to show you, this is a special coin that was produced for that during that time. So you see two czars, and then you see one czar on the back. There is Sophia on the back. Okay, so here's Sophia again. She ruled really smart. She even had this kind of sounds almost crazy. She even had plans to emancipate peasants. Who are peasants? Yes, peasants. Those are people who work on with earth, and to emancipate, you understand. She even had plans to emancipate peasants. She liked talking to foreign people coming to Russia by that time. Her favorite guy was Vasily Golitsyn. People say that she was in love with him. People even say that they probably had children, but it's not proved historically because Golitsyn had a wife and 6 children and he loved his wife. But he was educated in Europe. This was very unique for Russia by 18th century. To go to Europe was like, are you crazy? Because Europe were heretics. Do you know heretics? Catholic, not Orthodox. So it's like against our church, don't go there, don't touch the foreign people, I don't know, don't even look in their eyes because they're devils. So to go to Europe, to university, was like, hello? Like, go to church every Sunday, that's your education. So he was educated in Europe, he came back, he was a perfect diplomat, so he could negotiate. For example, they signed an agreement with Poland during his, when he and Sofia were there, and that was one of the best agreements with Poland we had in our history, because it was very good for Russia by that time. So, but they did not actually notice what was going on in Preobrazhenskaya. So it was lasting for 7 years while they were in Moscow ruling, like Sofia, and she wanted to do something good. She wanted to do reforms. She had good ideas, especially in Golitsyn as well. What was going on in Preobrazhenskaya? What do you know about his life, Peter's life? He was like 10 years old in this small village. Do you know anything about this? Okay, I'll tell you. So this was like this. They lived in a residence of his Tsar. Lots of churches, lots of aunts, different ladies who were very religious. They would tell him like, go to church, I don't know, eat your dinner, then go to church, pray, I don't know. And he was like, I want to get educated. I want to know, he was asking questions, like why is this working? Why is this there? Why is it here? And they didn't know how to answer these questions. So he was very curious and very energetic boy, like 10 years old. He was running around playing with children of peasants also, but and they were like always looking, where's Peter, and he's there. They would bring him back to the palace and say, you are the Tsar, you have to sit and be a Tsar. So like they were teaching him different manners. Of course he hated it, he didn't like it. The one thing that was very, I don't know, like fateful, or it changed his destiny kind of, and destiny of whole country, near this Preobrazhenskaya, there was a German settlement, or German colony. Settlement, do you know this word settlement? Yes, it's in Russian, it was called Немецкая Sloboda. So what is this? Lots of foreigners came to Russia in 18th century. And because Russia didn't like foreigners officially, they couldn't live in Moscow. So they were put outside of Moscow. Now it's a region that's called Lefortovo, because Lefort was one of the people who lived there. And they built their houses, they built their churches, they lived there, manufacturers, everything. So Peter found out about this, and once he was like a small child, he came there and he saw a mill, a windmill. What is a mill? Militsa. And he asked how does it work? So, and the German guy, and probably it was Lefort, because he remembers, he wasn't German, he was born in Geneva, and he has a French name, but that was his German settlement, he was speaking German. So he explained him everything. And then he liked it, and he started going to this like all the time. And in the palace they were like crazy, what's going on with Peter, where is he? But he was going there there, he was drinking there, he fell in love there with Anna Moss, if you heard about this. So this is German settlement. That's a house of Lefort, and actually it's a picture by Alexander Benoit, if I'm not mistaken. This is Peter the First's carriage, and he's leaving the Lefort's house. This is, okay, so what did he do? He loved everything about Europe. So he loved the way they dressed. They could answer all of his questions. They explained him how everything works. They kind of educate him. And the thing is that Peter the Great had never no education. So Sofia had an education. He didn't. He had some guy, Zotov, but he was kind of stupid. He taught him how to write. So this Tsar, this Peter, he never received education. Didn't go to school, didn't go to college, didn't go to university, doesn't have a master's degree, no PhD. But he was educating himself all his life. Like, we will talk about this in the first lesson then. And so he fell in love with everything. Their way of living, how they spoke. He learned German there with them. He fell in love there. He, as I said, they drank beer there. So he was going there. The next thing, he loved how they dress. So the German costume, that's how he puts this German costume and German hat, and he shows to, look at this, his mom, and all the guys like in this slope, and they're like, oh my god, what's going on? Because it was very, you should imagine how crazy it looked for them. They didn't know what to think. They were, I don't know, they were looking at him and like, he is crazy. But we have no more Tsar. We have to have him. But so he was showing his new costume, and they were like, "Oh my god!" And so, yeah, that's Lefort. Lefort was the man who he met. He met lots of people there. Gordon and Lefort. He made him a general and admiral later because it was his like really close friend. So he met Lefort there, and he was explaining him everything. And also one thing that once he found a sailboat when he was playing, he was going everywhere. Nobody could find Peter at the daytime. So he found in the shed is a small building for some stuff that you don't need. He found a small sailboat there. And he asked people like what to do with this. And his mom said, forget it, it's old, there is nothing to do with this. So he went to Lefort and asked him like, do you know how to fix it? So they fixed it, they pulled it out, they fixed it, and he sailed this boat the first. And after that, he fell in love with everything that's going on about sailing and boats, and he wanted to know how to build one. And he actually started to learn how to build boats. And the last thing, very important, what happened to his childhood, that's like his toy army. What is toy army? It's like потешные войска of Peter. What did he do? There were two villages, Preobrazhenskoye and Semyonovskoye. So he pulled all the boys of his age out of these villages. I'm a Tsar, you know, you can do whatever I tell you. And he made them an army, the Preobrazhenskoye army and the Semyonovskoye army. And he made them fight. And he also gave them different positions, like you were a general, you were a soldier. Do you know, he also gave a first position to himself. Do you know what was his position in this army?
Private or something.
Huh?
It was very low ranking.
It was really low ranking. He was a drummer boy. A drummer boy is the guy who goes like this. Then he became, after some fight, he promoted himself and he became just a common soldier. And he asked Lefort to help him to organize everything. And then he saw that he really liked it. They started training, and then he asked to enroll is like to go to army, to enroll all the men in the villages. And he even asked people from Moscow to come and enroll to his army. He paid him, he asked for money from his, I don't know, people who worried about his future and stuff. For example, there was another, Boris Golitsyn, who was his friend, and he lived in Moscow, and he gave him money for that. So he paid 5 rubles a month for these guys. They enrolled, and he mocked battles, just mocking. Do you know to kill a mockingbird? Копировать. То есть тумок — это делать вид, что ну, то есть вообще-то тумок — это когда кто-нибудь на вас так смотрит, и на него, ну, что this is mocking, дразнить, да? Но he mocked battles. So they organized battles. He asked Lefort to build special fortress, and they were taking this fortress from both sides. There were even people wounded during these like battles. For example, in Ford, he had the burning thing came into his neck, like some. It wasn't the real thing from the cannon, but I'm not sure. I don't remember how it's called, but it's like he burned during taking this fortress. He was a general. So Peter gave him a position of a general, and what you need to understand is those children things that he did, all of them became very important in late history. So the Preobrazhensky and Semyonovsky corps, the Palki, all the generals came from there. Lefort, Gordon, they became admirals and they fought in the wars with Turkey, and then he planned to go to Sweden, of course, with them, but Lefort died before. He loved everything European, all the way, like he saw fireworks first time in this German settlement, and he was the one who brought fireworks. It was called Ognenные Zabavi, and he made people in St. Petersburg watch these fireworks. Everybody like, get out of their houses, you know how in Russian "загнать рукой железной к счастью", everybody was made to come to this Troitsky Square, and they were watching fireworks, and they thought it's evil. Actually, they all thought it's evil. For example, smoking. He started smoking. You said about smoking. You said about smoking. Yes. First, he started smoking in this German settlement. Smoking was very kind of bad. Nobody got used to smoking in Russia by that time because it was considered something that heretics do, because they had smoke coming out of their nose. And it's like devils. Don't smoke. So maybe that's should be a campaign against smoking right now. But Peter smoked pipe, and he made everybody do this. So I don't want to steal information from my first big lecture that we're going to have. I just want to tell that it really influenced everything that he did after that. So to sum up, I'll show you just a couple more pictures. So this is like mocking of he also ordered cannons, so they had real cannons. And by the time he grew up, the fight with Sofia became very intense. He had army. I mean, these guys weren't a toy anymore. They were army after 9 years of training. And once he heard that Sofia wants to kill him. And at night, some strelets, some of this military guy, he came at night to his place where he slept. He was changing sleeping places. He didn't want to sleep at the same place because he was afraid that Sofia is going to send somebody to kill him. So they told him that strelцы are coming and they want to kill him. So what did he do? He woke up as he was in night wear. He took a horse and he just ran to Troitsa Sergeyeva Lavra. That's the name how you call it in English. So he couldn't forgive this cowardness until the end of his life. He was remembering this moment and he said, "I was such a coward." Who is a coward? Yes, because he ran just in a nightshirt. But when he ran to this, actually this is also the toy army. They're discussing the plans how to attack. This is Anna Mons, the girl he fell in love. She might have been more beautiful because we don't have real portraits of her. It's just from the words. But they just explained that she was really nice and beautiful, and he fell really in love with her. But his mom, just to finish this make a logical end to this, his mom said, "Okay, you're 17, so 7 years have passed. He was 9, 10, now he's 17. You need to, you can rule by yourself. So we need to get rid of Sofia." What did she tell him to do? What did she need to do? What did he need to do? She married him. She said, "You need to be married." He never saw his wife before they got married, and his wife was, do you know, anybody knows her name? This is her. Her name was Evdokia Lopukhina. It was a bad marriage because he did not love her. He told her, "You should study German, you should study Holland, you should read books," and she was like, "What? Russian princes don't study German, don't do." And also, she was the last Russian wife of all the Russian emperors next. So, next emperors in Russia, Nikolai, Pavel, Peter, I don't know, Nikolai II, everybody, they all had foreign wives. Understand? No Russian. So she was the last Russian wife, and he made her go to convent. Convent is like a monastery, and but they had a son, but he was openly going to this German settlement, having affairs with Mons. So that's Peter the Great, and that's also him, and I just show different pictures. Yeah, what happened to Sophia, like just one last thing. This is a famous painting of Repin. I think it's in Tretyakov gallery. So what happened to Sophia? She starts understanding that something's going on in this Preobrazhenskaya, that he's old, he got married, and he can take her power away. What can she do in this situation? What do you think? What do you think she did? What would you do? You have your half-brother who is trying to be a Tsar, and you also want to be a Tsar. Okay, I will tell you. she again wanted to ask Stritsi to make the rebellion, to kill that. She didn't ask to kill him, but she wanted to do something like this. But as Peter ran to destroy Sergei Lavra, she sent Patriarch to go. She got scared because many people were going there and staying with Peter because they understood he is a young, tall, smart, adult person who can be a Tsar by himself. So she sent Patriarch